Hello, my name is Gwen, and welcome to your practice. Today we're going to start seated. So if you find it difficult to sit on your mat, then you can sit in a chair, or you can explore stacking a few blankets. Or if you only have one blanket, then it's the art of folding. So fold it once, again, and then sit right on top, perch yourself right on top. I like to go close to the edge so that it feels like my sit bones are on the edge and I'm coming forward. So let yourself sway forward and back now, wherever you are, in the chair, seated, or on the floor, in your comfortable seat. And then let the spine feel like it's stacked, so there's more weight in the sit bones. And then go ahead and come side to side, like tick-tock, from right to left. Eyes are closed once you have the gist of this movement, knowing that there's no perfect here. If you feel a little something, you're doing it right. And then pause. Notice how that feels. Then place one or two fingers on the chin, and like you're jetting the chin outward into the fingers, and then press the fingers back. Notice the resistance, like pushing in a door or a drawer. And it might be a little sticky, or it might be fluid-like. So notice how that feels. Press the chin into the finger or fingers all the way out, and then press it back. Eyes are closed. Feel the back of the skull come back, 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 and then relax that effort. Take a deep breath there. And feel the balance now through the palate, through the crown, from the earlobes down to the elbows, to the hips. And connect to your breath. Notice the smoothness, or is the breath jagged? Often if the breath is jagged, you're experiencing a little discomfort or pain, maybe some anxiety, tension in the body, known or unknown. So as we practice today, notice the breath. Allow it to become fluid-like. And then one more breath just like that. And we'll start now in turtle on our belly. So go ahead and come right onto your belly right away. And as you come down, you might notice that the pelvis is really heavy and it carries down the spine all the way draping in a really big back bend for your body. So if you want to lessen that, then bring the blanket underneath the pelvis. You build the floor to you, and notice if that feels better. So come where it just feels better. And if you don't need the blanket, we'll might need it for the next flow, if we get there. So go ahead and leave the right hand where it is. Let the left cheek come into that. Left arm down by your side. Come into the tops of the feet now. Give them a little press into the floor. And then relax that effort. Again, like a little paperweight, give a little press into the tops of the feet. Notice the evenness of both feet pressing. The legs switched on, the sit bones, the lower spine. And then relax that effort. And then one more just like that, a light little press. Careful not to go too heavy into the tops of the feet. And then relax as the knees soften, soften, soften down. Take another deep breath here.
Send the left shoulder down into the floor. Pause. Tops of the feet press. And then relax that effort. Take a deep breath. And again, press the tops of the feet, left shoulder downward. Hit the pause button. Feel the muscles responsible for this action. And then relax that effort. Let's come into that. We'll add on now. So press into the hand through the cheek. Let the right elbow come up. And then let it lower. Press into the cheek. Let the right elbow come upward. Eyes are closed. And you might point in a different angle. And then you lower. Press into the cheek. Press into both feet. Left shoulder. Lift the elbow. Pause. Now lift the head. Feel how heavy the head is under the hand. Elbow comes down first. Head and hand second. Relax and soften the body into the mat, into the floor. Feel that softening as you breathe smooth, deep. Feel the fullness as you exhale it all out. Let's come into that 2 more times. So press into the tops of the feet. Left shoulder. Feel the weight of the head as the right elbow lifts. Lift the head. Elbow comes down. Head and hand. Relax everywhere. The legs, the arms, the shoulders, the lower back. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, tops of the feet press. Left shoulder. Press into the head. Feel the pressing down as the elbow gently floats. Float up the head. Maybe it feels lighter this time. Float the shoulder, the elbow down, head and hand, and relax and soften, soften, soften. Stack the hands and rest your forehead on top of that stack. Lift both feet so the heels are above the back of the knees and sway them. Let them gently tip from one side to the other. Eyes are closed, forehead heavy on that top hand. Let yourself rest here. Feel into the top of the thigh, the lower back from hip to hip. And we'll come right over to the other side. So go ahead and leave your left hand where it is. Thread your right arm all the way down that right side. And now your view is the left elbow as you rest your cheek, that right cheek, down into the knuckles. Let's break this up now. Let's go ahead and press into the tops of the feet. And then relax that effort. And then we'll press into the tops of the feet and send the right shoulder down, that long and strong arm down. And then relax. Let's add on. Let's press into the top of the feet, the right shoulder, the head, and float the elbow. Feel it carry the shoulder up. And then lower. And then relax everywhere. The belly, feel it press down as you breathe in and soften as you breathe out. Again. And relax. Whew. Then press into the top of the feet, the right shoulder, the head. Lift the elbow and feel the weight of the head as you carry it up. Let the elbow come down first. Head and hands second, and then release the tops of the feet, the legs, the lower spine, the shoulders. Breathe into this deep relaxation. Exhale it all out. One more here. All at once. Press into the feet, shoulder, head, elbow lifts, head lifts. Then slowly lower. All the way down, and feel the muscles switch off as you roll onto your back body. And scan now. So scan the body. And notice how you feel. Heel toe your feet wide or splay the feet out. Yogi's choice. Hands on the body or off. And feel into your legs. Notice the vibration. Feel into the lower spine. This targeted area of the sciatic nerve through the lower spine, all the way through the legs, the sole of the foot, all the way up the back body to the shoulders. Just feel into those muscles that receive. And one more breath there. And then go ahead and bend up one knee at a time. Drag the hips over to one side and roll over to your side. So we're going to come into catwalk. You'll need your blanket here. Go ahead and use your lower arm as a pillow and take the blanket in between the inseams, so right in between the inner thighs. And so for the blanket is useful in this pose to feel into the drag of the upper hip coming forward and maybe the knee outreaching, that bottom knee, and then dragging that upper hip back. So before we get there, we'll come into the shape just a little bit more. So go ahead and bring the upper arm reaching up, bend at the elbow. Option 1. It can hang on to the wrist or forearm. It can also, option 2, just drape there or rest on the top of the head. And the next option, if that is not available at all for that shoulder to move like that, rest it on the top edge of the body. So the good news is the body is always shape-shifting, so just start where it feels better, please. So I'll represent right over that top ear, draping. And then on your next natural breath, go ahead and feel into that top hip. Let it come forward. So rock it forward and then backward. Gently forward. Feel the drag of the inseam, forward and back on the blanket. Notice how it invites the shoulder to come forward and back. The whole top of the edge of the body, gently rolling forward and back. The head, the whole body. And then pause, come back to start, and we'll come to the top half. So now that top shoulder, let that shoulder feel like it's initiating the movement. It's starting the movement to come forward. And then that shoulder comes back. So if somebody was holding that shoulder, they gently, like the second hand of a clock, move forward. And like in slow motion, smoothly fluid-like back. And then close the eyes so you have that internal perspective now. The eyes are closed. And sense the relationship with that top hip as you move like this. Is it carrying that top hip forward even just a wee bit? So this is a beautiful one to come out of discomfort in the shoulders, the hips, the whole back body. So come back to start, and we're going to move in opposites. So you'll feel that resistance, those opposing forces. So slowly let the hip move forward and the shoulder backward. Can you coordinate this as the hip now gently moves back and the shoulder forward? It might feel like rocket science, so congratulations. The brain loves to learn in contrast. Close the eyes once you have the gist of this one. I also like to do this one with the feet on the wall so that you can really sense when you're laying here on your side, the feet pressing into the wall and those differences. Just another layer of awareness coming into it. Feel the elastic quality now of the body. Shoulder forward, hip back. Hit the pause button there. Notice your range of motion. And then hip forward, shoulder back, pause, and notice, just for a brief moment. And then one or two more, sensing and feeling all the subtle sensations, big and small. And one more. And then go ahead and come onto your back with bent knees and scan the body. Notice how you feel as you heel toe your feet a little wider and sense the inner knees knock as you travel right from the soles of the feet up to the knees to the outer hip, from one side to the other, all the way up the back body to the shoulders. Feel the weight of the back of the skull as the brain slowly sinks down. Notice that weight as you come into a gentle rock there. Feel that subtle sensation in the center of the brain. A little friction, a little movement. Take another breath just like that. And then let's move right over to the other side. So go ahead and just simply roll on to your other side. Feel your lower arm as your pillow. And then take your blanket and place it right in between the thighs, that upper leg. And then when you're ready, feel into this shape. Is it better to have the arm down? Or is it okay on this side to gently lift that arm and drape it over the top of the head, hanging on to the lower wrist, or allowing it just to be in that shape? Or maybe it's better to rest the forearm on the upper skull by the ear. So come where it feels better. And then explore when you're ready. Start with that top hip. Gently, softly move it forward. Feel the drag in the inseam on the blanket as it comes back. And you might start with the eyes open and then slowly let them close. This is mainly a closed eye practice. We're careful not to think that we have to look like anyone else. So feel into the sensation of that top hip, top shoulder. Is that hip now gaining momentum through the shoulder coming forward and back? Maybe one more. And then relax that effort
Take a breath. And then exhale it all out. Oh. Let the shoulder now initiate the movement forward and backward. Notice your range of motion on this side. Is it smaller? Is it a little larger? Did it get the memo? Does it feel like there's a fluidity in these joints of the hip and the shoulder? Is there momentum moving back and forward? Or is it a micro movement, very small? And then pause. And let's bring in those opposing forces now. So when you're ready, let the hip come forward or feel like it's coming forward, and the shoulder feels like it's coming back, just a little. And then the opposite, let the hip move back, shoulder forward. And just a couple more, just like that. Notice the rib cage move like this. And what is that relationship of the lower back to the hip? Does it feel like there's a broadening and widening? Can you feel into that lower belly as you gently carry the pelvis forward and back? And what do the chest muscles feel like? So as the shoulder comes forward, pause and let the hip be carried back and hit the pause button there. Feel all the muscles. And then now as the shoulder comes back, hip forward, pause. Notice what muscles ignite there. And then just a couple more here. Maybe a little bit slower. And one more each way. And then come into your body scan on your back. Allow the knees to remain bent here. Heel toe them wide. The hands can be on the belly or off. And slowly guide your awareness through the feet, from the big toe to the baby toe to the heel, up through the edges, the outer edges to the outer knees, to the outer hips, from one hip through the floor to the other, all the way through the outer edges of the torso to the shoulders. Does it feel wide, heavy? All the way through the neck to the back of the brain. Feel the weight coming down. Take a breath into it. Exhale it all out. Beautiful. So we'll come into a brief happy baby here. So let's modify it by allowing the leg to come up. Take that horseshoe of the thumb and the first finger behind that right knee and send that right elbow, same side as the leg, down into the floor. Feel the wedge support between the elbow and the shoulder, and then come into that the other side. And then slowly here now, lengthen through that outer leg. Spin the foot around in a circular motion. And then over to the other side. These are suggestions, invitations. You can decline. So if it feels better for you not to move the foot or paddle up and down, please do. Feel the lower spine, a light little massage after a lot of awareness, a lot of work. Gathering up that length, hydrating these targeted areas as well as the whole entire body. And one more breath, just like that. Let yourself rest. Come into your Shavasana, final resting pose. Let yourself absorb as you observe all the subtleties in your body. How do you feel from temples to toes? Relax through the jaw a little bit more. Through the shoulders, the hips, the legs. Let the whole body feel the groundedness where you're lying in the room. Nice and heavy. Take a deep breath inside and then all the way up where you are to the ceiling, and then back into you, to one wall, back to yourself, to the other wall, all the way back home, all the way down into the ground, and all the way back into you. Take a deep breath there. Relax it all out. Go ahead and come up any which way that feels good into a comfortable seat. And you might want to go and grab your blanket. You can use it as a blanket, or you can bring it underneath the sit bones once again and come into your comfortable seat. Let yourself sway from side to side. A light little sway. And then find your center and bring the palms together. And we'll come into lotus hands here. So one finger at a time. Let the thumbs come away. The next finger. The next. And the next. Leave the outer hands and thumbs together. Look at your fingers and only your fingers. One finger comes in at a time to prayer hands. And then leave the baby fingers, the edges together. And then the next finger comes away. The next finger. The next finger. And leave the outer edges now together. Like a vessel filling up. Heart-centered energy right at the heart. Allow it to feed that heart energy. Forward, back, side to side. And spill from our mats outward. As loving kindness to all. Namaste. And thank you for your practice.